There's something under the bed. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Something's Under the Bed podcast. I am Hernandez, always here with my two co-hosts,
Markee
and Obi.
And we're here again doing another little mini-sode. We did an episode where we talked about the Time Out article where the 2023 up-to-dated 5 greatest horror movies of all time. And we had Obi give her opinion on it, and then she told us what she thinks the 5 greatest horror movies of all time are. And now we're down to Markee. Markee, why don't you read the list off real quick and give us what your opinion is of the original list.
All right, this was the original list. So number 5 was Psycho, 4 Alien, 3 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 2 The Shining, and then 1 The Exorcist. I liked their list. Yeah. It was nice. Like, it stayed with the classics, obviously. I think a lot of people tend to do that. Mm-hmm. I honestly, I disagree, though. I don't think those are the 5 greatest horror movies of all time.
Yeah. Would you say they deserve to be in there? I didn't ask Obi this, but do you think they deserve to be in, will you give it 100?
I think they deserve to be in that list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think they're great movies.
Good movies. Very good movies. Classic movies.
Like you were saying, you don't think The Shining is
you
like
could throw away
horror.
too. Like I don't think these should be in the top 5 right now.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But you say none of those should be top. They should be on some list, but not this list.
The list of like 100. Like if you said the top 100 greatest horror movies, you would put these on there. I assume.
They're not gonna do the Timmy Dad.
I feel like there's so many. Like I don't disagree. Like these lists do deserve, I think, to be on someone's top 5, even if it's one on like a random top 5. But like, I'm always like, if there's new movies out, we have to. There are new movies, horror movies out there that are awesome, are great movies that I think are better than some of the older movies.
It's October.
It's
right?
October 2023. Yeah,
so that's recent.
Yeah.
I do like all of these movies though. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I do love it. Like it's so good. It is creepy, you know.
Yeah.
The ending of that movie when she's like in the truck, like screaming, scream laughing, crying almost.
And he's doing that weird chainsaw dance. Yeah. Gunnar Hansen played the guy, and he is a treasure. Yeah. He's actually he was. I mean, he passed, but everyone said great things about him, which always throws me off because a lot of guys that were the faces behind these horror movies are like the sweetest guys. Yeah, they're like really kind and awesome.
Just really good creeps. Yeah.
Good. They're just big usually, and Gunnar Hansen's huge. He's a huge dude, and yeah.
Like I understand why these movies are considered the great. Sure. They are. Like Psycho, I think Alfred Hitchcock, he is an important name in the horror genre in general. Like I know you said like Psycho isn't really a horror movie.
No.
For its time it was. Like back then in the 60s, that was a horror movie.
Yeah, you know? True.
And like the plot twist of that movie, like Norman Bates being his mother the entire time. Like,
so then, like you said, it's probably like these are the top maybe classic. Maybe they should throw classic in there.
I think it did something. Psycho did something for the horror genre, and it deserves its place on the list, in my opinion. I think it did. Same with like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's one of the ones that started the slasher films.
Yeah.
You know, I love Alien. I love it. I love that movie. Great movie.
Very good.
Very good. Yeah. I like The Exorcist, but I don't think again it should be that's their number 1. Yeah. And I don't think it should be number 1.
No.
Number 1 is a bold statement.
Yeah.
You gave your number 1. Markee will give her number 1 today. I will eventually give my number 1. It's still gonna be weird saying this is the number 1.
Yeah.
It's just like the balls to be like, this is my number 1, or this is the number. It's like
number 1
the best
in
of
this type
all.
of situation.
So I don't think any movie on that list would have been like when the number 1's like, whatever, dude. Really? Yeah. Whatever, dude.
And then with The Shining, I enjoy The Shining. I think it's really creepy. I think the bathtub scene with the old lady, and then the twin girls, like. It's so good.
Like I said, it's eerie. It's eerie.
I like it. I do enjoy that movie where he's like, I mean, it's just a classic. They're classics. But yeah, like I like the list, but I just don't agree with the list. But my list.
Here we
My
go.
list.
Here we go. Here we go.
I know technically I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna say an honorable mention real quick. Train to Busan.
Oh, you piece of shit. Honorable mention. Obi, start thinking of an honorable mention. I will not let you railroad us like this. Obi, start thinking of an honorable mention now. No, you got time. You got time. You got time. You piece of shit. I did not know we could do. We could do
No one said
honorable
we
mention.
couldn't do it, so I'm sorry that I was the one who came up with it.
Wow.
You know.
Well, that's fine because my episode's next. So
I'm
that's
sorry.
Cool. I'll do it. Train to Busan.
Train to Busan.
Nice.
It's a zombie movie.
Okay.
It's Korean, and I think that when I first saw this movie, because it was like recommended, it's like one of the greatest.
But this is
movies.
5, right? This is 5.
This is
No,
This is my
she's saying an honorable mention. That's what I'm saying. Obi. It's like,
I wasn't gonna get it. I wasn't gonna get. I was just
Oh,
going to
no.
an honorable mention.
Let's not.
yeah. Too late. You brought it up. We're gonna talk about this movie.
It's a great movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
It is a foreign movie, so subtitles.
Did somebody
But
pay
it's
you for
really
this?
No, I said I'm not. But you can.
Okay.
All right, but my number 5. You guys are gonna think this is wild. A Quiet Place. I picked for
Really?
number 5.
What? 1 or 2, or it's collectively?
1.
Okay.
Because it's different movies. Number
Yeah,
the first
okay.
A Quiet Place, I think it's silent because these are
That's pretty
monsters.
shit, yeah.
Like they can't see that they do it by their hearing. You know.
So you're telling me we can't talk?
And I knew I was gonna love this movie.
I snore.
The beginning of
I snore when I sleep.
Oh my
I wouldn't
God,
last a
too.
minute in this world.
Yeah. No, I would too.
I would be
Wow.
dead.
I'd be
you have to sleep and like
A soundproof
Yeah.
room. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be worried, like, did I snore too loud? Did I snore too loud? No, that's real fear.
Yeah.
Because
That's
the
fear.
movie shows, like, how
And they come on.
drop of a dime.
Oh my God! And
come
they killed the
coming.
little baby.
and I think that's what like and like that's like one of that's the opening scene is the little boy just getting
Or
snapped.
maybe he's alive.
And I knew I was like, this is gonna be a great
You
movie.
can't even yell like, you know what I mean? Like,
Because if they start yelling, more will probably come.
Yeah.
Or they'll come after he takes the boy, he's going to go after them. So they're all trying to silently yell and scream in horror.
Yeah. And it just like it has the heart because you have like the dispute with the daughter and the dad, and then at the end when he's like, "I've always loved you," and like he starts screaming and you know,
oh my God!
and then when she gives birth in the bathtub, like it's suspenseful
And
because
you have
you're
to
like,
be
"Oh
quiet.
my
You have to
God!"
be
Like,
quiet. You have to. And I'm so sad that
do you remember when she stepped on the nail, like going
Yeah.
down the stairs? That's such a good movie. That's my
Do you
number
think that
5.
was
And
a
it's
nod
sad
to Home
ending.
Alone? I'm being honest. Do you think that was a tip of the hat to that? Because that's what Marv does when he
Yeah.
puts his foot in, he steps on a nail.
We'll have to ask John
Yeah.
Krasinski.
Please.
I want to know.
We'll ask
I want to know.
Reach out to him.
You know what? I actually refuse to talk to that man. Everyone is so far up his ass. I'm like, give him a minute to breathe. But quite yeah. I unfortunately I've never seen it.
No.
Ew.
I turned it off after that young son is taken away. I was
You're
like,
so.
fuck this movie.
It's
Fuck
weird
this
to me.
movie.
I look at it hard and
I know a lot about it. Unfortunately, I have seen the scene where you're talking about where John Krasinski screams to save his kids. I think it's excellent. I think it is like it's a common thing where it's like the dad. There's a point where the dad has to sacrifice the ultimate sacrifice to save his kids, and the fact that the creatures that hunt by sound that's a hell of a thing. They have I know they walk on what is it, sand or what do they walk on? They have the path of.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is. I didn't watch it.
I think it is sand.
It's sand
because it's easier to
keep,
run.
Yeah.
because you don't hear it when you walk on it. I loved how they came up with all those things to keep this like, well, we're a family. We're going to keep living, and we're just going to figure out what we have to do to survive.
That's
I
right.
loved that idea. I loved it. You got Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, a real couple, real family. They're perfect. They're great. They're white. They can't be all perfect.
They're so cute.
Um,
Oh my God, they're so
Yeah,
cute.
they're really cute. I'm glad they keep spreading and making more of them.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. It's like, it's
Why
fine.
are you beating
I'm
Hernandez?
fine. It's fine. He's really tall. She's British. They're great. But yeah. No. it's yeah, it's good. It's good. From what I saw, I was like when you see something, the scene where he turns the toy on, and you don't really see it, but you hear something coming. It's like,
Yeah. And
I
he's
did-
running as
I
fast as he
did.
can.
I did feel. I was afraid. I was like, oh boy. So it's a scary movie. From what I've seen,
Yeah.
that's the
Opening
beginning of the
scene.
movie.
You're gonna open like that? That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that was gonna be that. Good job. Okay. Fine.
My number 4 is Sinister. I think that
See,
at that time it
so
came
mad.
out, horror movies weren't doing
I didn't
that
want to
great.
put that on my list because I'm like, I talk about it so much. It is a good movie.
I think it's one
so
of-
scary.
yeah.
Like it's that
It's
first one.
genuinely scary.
Yeah.
Like, imagine dying by your child.
Actually,
Like,
the lawnmower for me.
Yeah.
It's always the lawnmower.
Oh, those snuff films.
And I'm like,
oh, when
Those
like
are
at the end,
great.
like, when
like,
you see
and you
the
had
kids
them
in-
record
yeah.
it. You convince these children to kill their family and record it. I'm like, savage.
They did a little like I watched a video where they talked about his character, and he apparently the deity, whatever he is, he has a bigger, stronger, darker brother who punished him and took away his mouth so he couldn't influence. And that's like crazy. I thought, I was like, whoa, who's this guy who's like, you can't talk anymore? So he was just somehow able to, that's why he like does it to kids. You know, it's like,
Okay.
so he eats, it's like what he does, that's what sustains him. So the kids have to kill, and then that's the nourishment. He gets to take the kids away.
Okay.
But I couldn't agree more with that movie. That movie scared me to death.
Another
That's
Ethan
okay.
Hawke movie.
Yeah.
Another Ethan Hawke movie.
And
He's
it's
such
funny
a
you bring that
good-
up because it's like, yeah, you see the two sides. He's
Yeah.
the loving father. I mean,
He's
I think he's kind of
like
a piece of shit dad. Technically, he's a piece of shit dad.
He shouldn't have moved them into that house.
But he does
like,
love his kids.
Yeah.
He does love his wife. He's just
He makes the
dumbass.
wrong choices.
A big wrong choice. A big wrong choice. You don't sleep in a house where a family was murdered. You don't do
No,
it. You
you
don't
don't.
do it.
You go visit it, you might buy a toy.
Yeah,
to
dog.
it.
You can't just go in and take notes while walking through the house.
And
Like you
being
have
like,
to
nah,
live
you're not
there.
knowing that's multiple murders, and no.
I love the part where the wife finds out and they're yelling, and she's like, "Don't tell me we're staying in a house where a family was murdered." No, it happened in the back. That was the only I needed it because it gave me a break. Like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. That was such a classic. Like whoever wrote that was like, "This is what a husband would say in
Yeah.
this fight." Like,
I mean, that's how
honey,
it's funny.
it's not. It didn't happen in here. It happened over there. What are you freaking out about? I love that part. That's such a good
good
movie.
one.
I saw it in theaters. Thank you,
Okay.
Jesus. You know we can't say it much.
Because you don't. It's big. It's dark. This
Yeah.
thing is dark.
Yeah.
If you can, I know it's not always easy. You know, we all got kids. Everyone, you know, we're not the only ones that have kids. We're not the only ones that have jobs.
Exactly.
If you can get to the theaters to see movies, especially horror movies, try. Because that movie, I got to see in the theater.
Yeah, some of the
It was
greatest
so
horror
good.
movies I watched in theater. And it
It's-
makes it better.
Yeah, man.
It's being surrounded by other people who are just
Yeah,
like
well, I saw
into
it when OB's list. We saw
Yeah.
it chapter 1 and 2 in theater, and it was an experience. And even though I didn't like it chapter 2, it was still nice to see it in the theater and with your friends and everything. It was good. It was good. Couldn't agree more with that pick. That's a good pick.
My number 3, it was hard. I was choosing between 2 different movies, but in the same series.
Okay.
But I think I am going to go with Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Oh, good one.
I
Finally an
was
older
gonna
one.
pick-
Finally an older movie.
I was going to
Yes.
pick the first one.
Okay.
Like the original, but I was like, I really like Wes Craven's New Nightmare because it was like it's based on like Heather, like
Yeah.
she's like a real person. She is the actress who plays Nancy, so like they talk about that, and all these people are like just playing the actors, not their characters until like the end when they get into character again.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare is the best Nightmare on Elm Street. I'll take that to my dying grave. It's
I
the
like
best.
how they did it.
It's the best one
I
because
watched it, but I don't really like. I don't like Freddy Krueger that much. Like he's not my top favorite. Like so it wouldn't be on my list. But I understand why you do like him. I know.
Well,
I like
absolutely.
Robert England, and I think
he's in there playing the Freddy you like.
No, I
you
know.
like the
I
Freddy
like
he
it.
plays, but
Yeah.
it's really Robert England.
Yeah.
And then you see not Robert England because it's not Robert England. It's actually Freddy Krueger, or the embodiment of Freddy Krueger.
And that's why I like this one too. Is like they did go back to the original Freddy. Like he's mean and like sadistic. He's still funny, but not like he was in the sequel.
Yeah,
to the movie.
In the first one, he's frightening, and then literally after the first one, they start making him throw jokes in there, which I do love, but you can't argue with the fact that it does make him less scary.
Yeah.
He's more like, look at this guy. He's wild. He's crazy. And I couldn't agree more with you. Yeah, the new Nightmare. It just puts it more real because all the movies were just movies.
Yeah.
That's all they were. In this universe, they're just movies. And even though it does seem that like Heather is like the actress is like kind of like when Robert English shows up, she is kind of like on edge. So it's almost kind of like she really was always afraid of him, which makes sense because then now the movie shows up. There's a real demon, and Wes Craven had to come back because whoever did the one before that, is it Freddy Goes to Hell or I can't remember what. No, Freddy, the last Freddy before Freddy. It's I think it's just the final nightmare or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, it has to do with he has a daughter. And there are demon worms. It was.
I barely remember that one.
It's
probably
not memorable.
because
It's not memorable. It's such shit, and I think that's what made Wes Craven's like, wait a minute, and he came in and he's like, I'll come up with something. Don't worry, I can't let that be the last Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's why.
Even though he wasn't involved with that one, he was like, guys, my name is still attached to this a little bit. And I couldn't agree more.
And I think that's why I'm really I really like this movie too, is because that series did kind of fall off, and it was just like they're not as good. And then he came back with this, and it was like, this is what
it's
a Nightmare on Elm Street should be.
Out of it, yeah, you're right. It's the better of the.
Because you said it's like what frightful. It's like what's frightful is you're
true.
doing a movie, and the scariest part of this movie is actually something that's coming through to the reality. It's like, this is supposed to be fake. This is a movie. She loses her husband, who was a sweetie pie. Her son is being he was a good dude.
That was a good man.
He was a good man. And the son, she's worried about the son. The son's been having nightmares. It's like, is this real? Now we're getting this, like, why is this real? This is supposed to be real. I couldn't agree more with that movie. That movie is a fucking great movie. Gosh, I love that. It's my favorite. That's my favorite Nightmare movie.
It's great.
Oh,
it's great.
Love it.
My number 2, I'm going back a little further. Sorry, Obi.
Yeah.
I have to say Halloween.
Oh.
I have to say it.
Ew.
I get like today. I'm not scared of Halloween. I don't think it's a scary movie now.
But
I'm not scared of it. But it is.
Yeah.
It's a slasher movie.
Yeah.
The music, like I think, what makes him
Sure.
scary. Like there's somebody coming after me, and
Halloween
then you have
is Halloween.
Yeah.
And if you hear that,
Classic, yeah. And it's just, okay, you know. And I think this should be in the top 5. Like, this is one of the greatest horror movies of all time. It's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It started a generation of slasher movies. Like, if you have to have like your Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers to have like what we have today, you know.
John Carpenter is my favorite director. My favorite horror. Well, I'd say director because I don't give a shit about real directors. But my favorite horror director. He scores a lot of his own music.
Yeah.
That's him. He's the genius behind most of the music of his movies, and that is an element. He uses music to set the mood, to do it, and I couldn't agree more. Like, it's like, he's a frightful image. You can barely see him. He's usually in the shadows. He never speaks a word. And there's also this music that follows him, and it's good. It's really I
think that's what makes it scary is he doesn't speak. There's no motive behind why he's doing what he's doing. And John Carpenter, I remember I watched this mini documentary about Halloween, and he said like he did not want to direct a horror movie. He didn't want to do it, but then he saw potential in what it could be.
Sure.
So he
And it
honestly,
has.
if John Carpenter, I don't know what Halloween would have been if John Carpenter wasn't behind it.
It wouldn't have been
Anything. Honestly.
I mean, it would. I mean,
So they
It
got
would have been something.
something else.
It would have been, I don't think, a top 5 horror movie of all time.
Yeah, Halloween is and then it spawned a whole bunch of sequels that some are less than favorable, but Halloween I think is still pretty pure because I was listening to Quentin Tarantino and Eli Roth talking about the Halloween, and they appreciate Halloween, they love Halloween, but literally there's a huge wave of sequels where it's like they came up with that last little bit where it's like their brother and sister.
Yeah.
And it really took a lot of the wind out of the sails. Like, wait, what? It was more like you said. There's no motive. Why is he doing this? No idea. No idea. He's just a prideful.
Like,
Not really. I mean, he killed his sister. Why did he kill his sister?
I don't think
And
he
then-
did, because his parents look really like well off too. Like they look like nice people.
When Michael shows up to kill his sister, the sister says, "Michael."
Yeah.
She's not like. She's just like, what the hell are you doing? She is caught off guard.
yeah.
She is not like, oh God, Michael, like, I knew this was going to happen. You're a freaky ass kid. My parents should have stopped with me. None of that. She's like, Michael, you can hear it. She's like, what the hell, Michael? It's like, God, I almost wanted him to kill her. She sounds like that. And then it's like, but it's like, and then he walks out and he just has this blank stare when they're in shock. This kid that killed his older sister with a knife. It wasn't like he set a fire, he accidentally killed her with a knife. And then that spawns it. Then the doctor, Loomis, Donald Pleasance, love you, Donald.
That's great.
See you soon.
Jesus.
Time's relative. Grow up, Mark. No, but he talks about he's like how he spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then 7 years making sure he never saw the light of day. That is. I just got a chill. That is really frightening.
Yeah.
What he saw, what he was, and oh man, that's I wanted to be like, is it a good movie? Is it a great movie? But there's just so many things about that movie where I'm like, yes.
Kill.
It's
It's
a good movie. It's a good movie. That was your number 2,
That
right?
was my number 2.
That's
Okay.
good for you.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
Thanks.
Oh my God.
Can you guess what my number 1 is?
I'm gonna say.
I feel like it's Scream. I feel like
Everybody was gonna guess it's Scream. Guess what? It's not.
I want to guess. Showgirls.
Yeah.
It's Showgirls.
It's Showgirls.
It's frightful. It's frightening.
Wait.
No, it's a reference to. It's a reference to Scream 2.
I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
And that was my way of saying. That was my way of saying it's probably Scream because that's what they say.
That's
Yeah.
sex scene.
Well, no, he said, "Oh, yeah." Let's not get into it. That is. No, as a young man, I'm watching that, and you think I'd be like,
This is what it is.
whoa,
Right.
whoa. I was younger. Yeah, I was younger, so I saw it as like, he's gonna kill this person.
Right.
She's gonna die. But what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Hereditary.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that was probably when that movie came out. It bumped a lot of these horror movies off the list because that movie was amazing.
Wow.
It was really scary at all the right times. It had the good amount of jump scares. That fucking car scene with the telephone pole.
You did not think it. You're thinking it was just a good moment. Like, this bitch is free. She feels good about it. Yes, queen. I'm broke.
I mean, she was having an allergic reaction.
Yeah, I don't think she was having a great time.
You know what I mean? Like, he was at
the party.
Oh, no, he was at the party, and he was having an okay time.
Yeah.
The second that happened. I think his
But even
time.
that, yeah, the allergic reaction, that was terrible.
He
Yeah, that was
tried.
that.
He did try to like get there.
He did not mean to kill his sister. It was a
No.
complete freak
Oh, he
accident.
was-
And then even like his moment when he went into the bedroom, it's like, is that really a reaction? Like, how would you react?
I think he.
How do you
Oh
think-
no!
would you
I think it was
screaming?
perfect.
I would
think
break
he.
down.
I think if that happened to me, I'd be very similar.
You'd
I'd
leave
be
the
like-
body in the car for overnight.
I'd be so
He was in
dead.
shock.
It would just be done.
I'd be so dead inside.
Oh no.
Nothing would be going on, and I would be a robot. That's why when he
Probably be
lays
like-
down, he just.
I'd probably be
There's nothing going on because
vomiting,
he's
like,
in shock.
and like, what?
Oh, I would have probably. I think that would have been my
Trying to
reaction.
put the head back together or
You
something
just
like
don't
that.
know,
Like,
I
just
guess.
crazy.
You don't know how you're gonna act
Yeah.
unless you're in that situation. And oh,
Please,
Jesus,
nobody.
dear Lord, please, none of us be in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene is wild.
And we've talked about this movie on the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about,
So
but it's fine. No, it's fine. You
But
can
I
still
mean,
say
it
it.
is. I think
That's a really
You
good
think
movie.
it's a real good pick? I think it's a real solid pick. I'm still shocked to my core that that's your number one. Scream was
I
not even
thought-
mentioned. I don't
What
want to hear you
was?
talking about
Do I
Scream on
even,
this
is this
podcast.
2024, Mark?
No, it's still my favorite horror
No,
movie.
no.
But I
I'm
don't.
busting your balls.
I really don't think it. I
Yeah.
love that movie, but I
You're
don't
like,
think
this is your list.
this is
your
the
list.
greatest horror movie, and it's up
Yeah.
there. It's definitely up there, but I don't think top five.
Someone walks up to you and says, Mark, I need a recommendation. What do you think the greatest is? You're not going to say Scream because you want this person to be like, well, what Scream is like you just saw it and you're like, oh, it's so fun. It's so cool. I love this movie. But it's like, you're showing someone's like, well, what's the epitome of a good horror movie? That's why you sometimes have to take a back seat to your favorites. you
Yeah.
know?
It's a great slasher.
You should on
Great.
she says on Urban Legend.
I like
That
Urban
is
Legend.
one of my favorite
Oh
movies
my
of all
God.
time. But if you would have asked me,
Let it go.
never. When you said Urban Legend, I was like, what? And then It Chapter 2 makes It Chapter 2 is like Urban Legend all the way. Oh my God! It Chapter 2 spends the whole movie blowing itself. It's like,
Of course,
oh look.
no, that was the movie.
I'm telling you.
More time.
I'm telling you, It Chapter 2. Good for you. That's all I'm gonna say. I appreciate your
Is that in my
bravery.
list? Let's get back to her.
Let's
list.
get back. Yeah.
That's my list.
I like it. It's
Um,
a good, like I said, I'm not. There's a couple I wouldn't, but definitely, yeah.
I wanted to throw in a mix of like the newer movies and
Sure.
like older movies
Sure.
because I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree. I enjoyed your list very much.
Thanks.
It's good to hear the list of people because sometimes it's like, oh really? I've never seen that movie. That's usually why I like hearing lists of people's movies. I like to get recommendations, but yeah, I couldn't agree with that list. I thought they were all good and solid picks. Very good, good movies too. It's like good horror movies and good movies. I feel like a good horror movie is also a good movie.
yeah.
It's written well. It's shot well. It's paced well. It's like
But not
many-
Showgirls. Not
I watched a movie. What? What? I
Not
didn't.
Showgirls. Not Showgirls.
Showgirls is a terrible film. Never watch that movie. That's my recommendation. But no. I watched a movie recently, The Empty Man. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Why? Why are we shooting horror movies 2 hours and 30 minutes now?
Yeah.
That
Why does
is
it take so
not.
long to get
Why? What are we doing?
What are we doing? No.
What are we doing?
Slow and
Pacing.
steady gets you
Pacing.
Slow and steady gets you
It has to be paced well. Now, it doesn't mean it's like the scenes are jumping too much. It's like, whoa, how did we get to this scene?
Right.
Then it gets too muddled. But proper pacing makes a movie, and I think all those movies
Just
honestly
give
have
me
good-
my 95-minute horror movie and I'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
no, I couldn't agree more.
Including credits.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
And
But
previews.
previews too. Okay, no, there's some good movies out there. There's some good movies out
No, I
there.
love
65 minutes,
I love
75
previews.
minutes, 70 minutes.
Now I
That's
go
fun.
late. I come later now too, because you reserve your seat now, so it's like nobody's gonna. I don't have to get there for anything else.
I don't care for. I used to like
Okay.
previews all the
No.
time, but now that there's the
That's
internet
what-
and
that's
YouTube,
15
You see them all the
I
time
I see them all.
anyway.
I know all the previews. We're good. But anyway, that's another episode, another little mini-sode we're just talking about our picks of the 5 greatest horror movies of all time. And we're going to do probably more like these and probably get to my opinions soon.
Yeah, I'm
and then,
ready to hear that. I'm anticipating hearing that.
You're not gonna. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're not gonna like
Oh my
any
gosh.
of them, but they are really good movies,
Yeah.
and you should appreciate them. You won't. You won't, because you're in your new school bullshit. Oh my god. Oh guys. I'm sorry. Whatever.
I'm
It's
sorry.
fine. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Please, obviously, we were talking about what's your top 5 horror movies of all time. Did you agree with these lists? Do you agree with the original list? Just get on the comments, whatever you want to talk about, and we'll be back with another episode soon.
No.
Bye, guys.